Sounds like something's outside. Walking about.
It sounded like human footsteps.
When you're camping miles from civilization, strange sounds in the night are never just the wind. Imagine footsteps circling your tent in pitch darkness, or a beam of light exposing a motionless figure in full camo. What would you do if this happened to you? Unlike busy public campgrounds, the Japanese camping channel Camprime focuses on places where most people would never consider spending the night. Using satellite maps, the creator searches for isolated clearings hidden deep inside forests and records quiet overnight trips, far from civilization. On March 7, 2026, one of those remote locations came with an unexpected discovery. After driving into a secluded forest area, he found a small clearing surrounded by trees. It appeared to be a peaceful place to park his vehicle and camp alone. However, an abandoned house stood directly beside the clearing. The empty building had been left behind in the middle of the forest. That evening, he arranged his campsite next to the vehicle, prepared his food, built a small fire, and roasted sweet potatoes. Nothing seemed unusual. There were no lights inside the house, no visible movement, and no clear signs that anyone had visited it in years. Still, the building remained in sight throughout the evening. Later, while sitting inside his vehicle, he heard movement outside. When he looked through the window, he noticed two glowing points moving through the darkness toward his campsite. At first, he could not identify what was approaching, or tell whether it was connected to the uneasy feeling he had experienced earlier. He remained inside and watched as the shape slowly moved closer. When it finally entered view, the explanation was far less frightening. It was only a raccoon wandering through the forest. After the animal moved away, he continued spending the night inside his vehicle. While relaxing, he watched the horror movie Wrong Turn, which follows people trapped in a remote forest while being hunted by cannibals. Outside his vehicle was a strangely similar setting. A dark forest surrounded him, and an abandoned house stood alone beside his campsite. It was probably not the best movie to watch in that location. Eventually, he needed to use the restroom and stepped outside again. As he walked through the forest, he found himself staring toward the abandoned house. He decided to approach the building and check whether he could use it. When he reached the house, he noticed signs that people had once lived there. However, every entrance he tested was locked. As he moved around the back of the building, he believed he saw something shift nearby. He immediately stopped and looked toward the area, but he could not identify what had moved. Since he was unable to enter the house, he left and returned to his vehicle. following daylight revealed nothing new. The abandoned house looked exactly as it had the night before. Its doors remained locked, the windows appeared empty, and the building continued standing silently beside the clearing. After spending the entire night parked next to it, the creator packed his belongings and drove away from the forest. Animal eyes can reflect light and appear much brighter at night, which explains the two glowing points near the campsite. However, the movement behind the abandoned house was never identified. Was it another animal hiding nearby, or was something watching him from around the building? On August 12, 2024, the Haggard Project traveled into the mountains of Washington State in the United States. He wanted to find a peaceful camping spot far from busy trails and surrounded by thick forest. After searching the area, he found an isolated clearing beside a creek. He set up his tarp shelter, collected firewood, and prepared to spend the night before darkness arrived.
Lets a little bit of light into these woods. That way, cannot see a thing. And I don't think I was recording earlier, but something made a heavy sound over there. But up that way, a couple miles, there is a camp, but I don't think anybody's hiking this way back down. Anywho.
At first, the campsite felt calm. The flowing creek and the quiet wilderness created the peaceful setting that many campers hope to find. However, that feeling slowly changed as the forest became dark. While sitting near his shelter, he began hearing strange noises from the woods around him. The first sounds resembled heavy footsteps or something large moving across the forest floor. Several loud crunches came from uphill. Each sound seemed separate, almost as though something was walking between the trees. He remained still and listened, trying to understand what had caused the noise, but nothing came into view.
I don't know if that was me or something over there. Definitely something over there.
Around 30 minutes later, another set of heavy crunching sounds came from a different direction. This time the noise appeared to come from an area near the creek about 50 feet from his campsite. Because the sounds were coming from more than one location, he could not tell whether an animal, another person, or something else was moving around him. He took his flashlight and carefully examined the nearby trees for several minutes. Even after searching the area, he could not find anything that explained the noises.
And once I get out to the road, I just take a quick look up towards where the creek is, and this is where it gets terrifying. But anywho, I've got my low beam on at this point. I think I see something small. Maybe it's like a raccoon or something right there by the water.
The strange sounds continued, and he still had no clear answer. He decided that staying there was no longer safe, so he gathered his belongings before starting a fire.
See something standing there on the side of the road, pretending to be a statue. Whatever this was decided it was just going to freeze. As I'm looking in that direction, I'm not even kidding, it looks like somebody dressed up in camo, and they've got their back slightly angled away. I'd say like at a 45 degree. They're standing there about 6 feet tall. That was probably sneaking up on me. That's all I can think. When I saw what it was, a human, and I kept the light on him for a good 20 solid seconds. The fear just kind of washed over me because I'm thinking, what's going to happen?
After reaching the road, he aimed his flashlight back toward the creek. He expected the beam to reveal only the trees and the campsite he had just left. Instead, the light exposed a human figure standing in the darkness. The person appeared to be wearing camouflage from head to toe. They remained completely motionless with their body turned slightly away from him.
That is what happened, and eventually after the 20 seconds, he didn't move, he just kept standing there. So I just pretended like, oh, maybe I didn't see it. Then on my way out, periodically, I'd turn back, check, nope, didn't see him, he's gone. And that's that.
For approximately 20 seconds, he kept the flashlight pointed directly at the figure and waited for a reaction. The person did not turn, respond to the light, or show any sign that they knew someone was watching. Sound can bounce between trees and make movement seem closer or come from different directions. Still, that does not explain why a silent person in camouflage was standing near the road. Was the stranger simply hiding in the forest, or had they been watching the campsite the entire time? On November 1st, 2025, Vanessa Blank from the channel Lost in Wonder traveled to the Hermitage Ruins in Ancaster, Ontario, Canada. She planned to camp alone beside one of the province's best-known haunted locations.
Some say his spirits never left, that he walks these woods at night, watching, waiting. Grief etched into stone, a heartbreak that never found its ending.
The stone ruins are the remains of the former Hermitage estate, a property closely tied to the legend of William Black. According to local folklore, Black was a coachman who took his own life after a forbidden romance. Over the years, visitors have reported hearing unexplained footsteps, seeing unusual lights, and experiencing strange activity around the abandoned walls. These stories turned the location into one of Ontario's most lasting ghost legends. For decades, paranormal investigators, urban explorers, and curious visitors have traveled there, hoping to witness something unusual themselves.
I have decided that this is going to be the spot. This is where I'm going to be setting up the tent. I want to use this structure here as a little bit of a wind barrier. I don't know if I should stay away from any structure. Okay, I'm just in my tent now. When I was setting up, a couple of times I saw lights in the woods, and one time it looked like it was coming right at me. And I'm like, I don't know if it's hikers or if it is the park authorities doing rounds. Either way, they didn't come here to the ruins. They just walked through the path. The light just really goes far.
As daylight faded, Vanessa set up her tent beside the ruins. She positioned it near one of the old stone walls to provide some protection from the wind. With broken stone structures and trees surrounding her, the campsite grew much darker as the remaining daylight vanished. While preparing the camp, Vanessa repeatedly noticed lights moving through the nearby forest. They briefly appeared between the trees, disappeared, and then returned a short time later from another direction. She could not tell whether the lights belonged to hikers or park workers. Vanessa remained close to her campsite and continued watching until they finally vanished into the darkness.
10 p.m. I think it's about time I try to get some sleep. Keep hearing noises outside of the tent, and it's probably just the rustling of the leaves or a raccoon, but I can't stop thinking about the story of William Black and getting his heart broken and taking his own life.
The wind continued through the evening, making every movement among the trees easier to notice. At around 10 p.m., Vanessa settled inside her tent. When she heard what sounded like footsteps, she stopped speaking and remained completely still, waiting to see whether they would continue past her. However, the noise appeared much closer than the nearby trail. The footsteps seemed to remain outside her tent for several moments before slowly fading away. The campsite became silent again, leaving Vanessa without a clear explanation for what she had heard. She stayed through the night, carefully listening to every sound around the ruins.
She is ready. Leave no trace. Yeah, the ruins don't look as scary during the day, for sure. It was beautiful though last night, with the moon rising right there in between the windows. And it is a beautiful sight.
By sunrise, the site looked exactly as it had the previous evening. There were no lights moving through the trees, and no one was visible near the campsite. The one thing Vanessa could not forget was the sound of footsteps outside her tent after everything else had become quiet. Wind and stone walls can carry and reflect sound, making distant footsteps seem much closer than they really are. But with no one visible near the campsite, what do you think Vanessa heard outside her tent that night? On December 1st, 2024, the YouTube channel Cora and the Explorer uploaded one of its most intense camping experiences. In the video, Keith travels with his dog Cora to Pavey Ark in the Lake District for an overnight wild camping trip. Keith is familiar with this type of adventure. He is experienced, properly equipped, and comfortable traveling across difficult terrain. However, this trip soon became more dangerous than he expected.
Hello and welcome to K&C Outdoors. I'm Keith and this here is Cora, my golden doodle. So we're out today in the Lake District, in my most favourite part of the world, and actually the most favourite part of the Lake District as well, which is Dungeon Gill. Nice, and we'll have a good time. But it's been quite damp today, which isn't a bad thing really, because I'm trying out some new gear.
At first, everything appeared to be going well. Keith was in a good mood, the surrounding views were impressive, and he seemed completely comfortable in the mountain environment. As the climb continued, the conditions began to change. Dark clouds moved over the area, and the ground soon became wet, slippery, and cold. Despite the worsening conditions, Keith continued climbing and eventually found a place where he could set up his tent for the night. At the time, he had no idea how difficult the next several hours would become.
So we're in the tent, and I would say this is the worst pitch I have ever had. I just couldn't tell with the lay of the land, and it is so on the slant. I just want to roll that way. I've got that I can shove onto my bed to try and level it out a bit, even if I can't level out the tent. Pants and my booties and my insulating jacket and everything on, because it's really gone cold. And the wind's starting to get up now. It took quite on me. I'm going to rest. Cora's just had a dinner and she's a bit cold, I think, so I'm going to give her some cuddles and get her nice and warm. And no, I'm not giving you any attention. I'm very sorry. Oh, okay, she needs a love. I'm going to have to go. We'll see you later.
After darkness arrived, Keith prepared dinner while recovering from the exhausting climb. He expected to spend a quiet night resting inside the tent. Instead, the wind began to grow stronger. The tent started shaking violently, and the storm outside appeared to become more severe with every passing minute.
Well, the wind's really getting up now, and it's got me a bit concerned. I have no idea how strong they are, but it's really strong. The tent's getting battered. They come here, love, in the parts that need to be held well, so hopefully it'll hold up well through the night. These little moments of calm, and then the gusts just start in again. So I've just put my little wind meter out. I don't know if it's showing, but there you go. It's showing at the highest with the gusts 70 miles an hour. But the tent, as I say, the double pole, it seems okay. I'm certainly aware that we might have to bail if it gets any worse. Don't want to, we're quite high up, a long way down. Oh, jeez. See you soon. Genuinely got me a bit worried now. The wind's unbelievably strong. I'm hoping we don't have to bail because it's a long way down to Langdale. This is the most worried I've ever been camping. It really is gusting strong now. I'll keep it up to date as we go along, but now it's a worry now, it really is. The weather's still horrendous. It's 5 AM and the tent's just absolutely getting hammered by the wind. Just waiting for it to get light, and then we're going to pack up and have the treacherous walk down, because it's going to be difficult walking, I think, in this wind. Not bothering making a drink or anything, just going to get off as soon as it's light.
Keith remained trapped inside the tent for hours, with Cora waiting for the first signs of daylight. Leaving during the storm would have meant attempting a difficult descent in dangerous conditions. When the weather finally began to calm, Keith quickly packed his equipment and started making his way down the mountain. Keith and Cora eventually reached safety without being injured. However, the trip could have ended very differently if the conditions had continued to worsen. Exposed mountain campsites offer little protection from strong wind, which can place constant pressure on a tent throughout the night. Do you think Keith made the right choice by waiting for daylight, or should he have left earlier? Explorer Davey from the channel. Davey's Dash records solo camping trips across southern Ontario. His videos usually feature quiet campsites, simple outdoor meals, and peaceful nights beneath the stars. However, on June 8, 2025, a camping trip in southern Ontario, Canada forced him to leave his campsite before midnight.
Yeah, this is my night. Just waiting on the...
After hiking to an isolated location beside a small creek, Davey chose to cowboy camp. He placed his sleeping gear directly on the ground without setting up a tent. The creek flowed a short distance from his sleeping area, while trees surrounded the campsite from every direction.
One thing you can't do is trust a fucking gibber. So let's go.
Davey prepared a simple dinner, stored his food, and settled beneath the open sky. Without a tent, only his sleeping bag and camping equipment separated him from the surrounding forest. As daylight faded, the sounds of the woods slowly replaced the noise from the trail. Before long, the entire area seemed completely deserted.
I don't know. I am jacked up, obviously, right now. I am jacked up right now. So, is there a place that we can just camp out? Like, even just off the side of the fucking trail here. I want to sleep out, man. That's all I want to do. And how am I 45 minutes away from town? Yes, there's a highway over here. You can see that car there, probably. But I'm 45 minutes out of town. Where is he getting his resources? And how is he so jibbed out? Because he's on methamphetamine. And that's the problem. So, even if I did knock him out, he'd wake back up and just come attack me again. So, that's a losing deal. But
at around 11 p.m., Davey suddenly woke to someone shouting. Still lying inside his sleeping bag, he looked up and saw an unknown man standing approximately 10 feet away. The stranger was holding 2 steel pipes. The man continued yelling, questioning why Davey was camping there and ordering him to leave. Instead of continuing along the trail or walking away, the stranger remained beside the campsite. Davey was forced to make a quick decision while still half asleep and alone in the darkness. He decided that leaving immediately was the safest option.
And getting some kip. All right, well, I guess we're shoving off. But that motherfucker had better fucking watch the fuck out, because all I should do is just got up and fucking throttle him. But again, he had 2 steel pipes in his hand, 10 feet away from where I was sleeping. And yeah, it's not gonna work for me right now. So let's just fucking go.
Rather than confronting the man, Davey focused on getting away as quickly as possible. Recording the situation was not his first concern. He later explained that it took him some time to reach his camera, because protecting himself came before filming. After collecting his equipment in the dark, Davey used his GPS to locate the trail again. He then left the campsite behind. Even after reaching the trail, he did not stop nearby. Davey continued walking until several kilometers separated him from the stranger. Only then did he unpack his equipment again.
So, not a big deal. But yeah, we'll start getting packed up here, get out of here. Especially because now I know that like this is somebody's farmer's field. It's time to get off this field. But as far as it goes for last night, every part of me just wanted to throat punch that guy. I mean, honestly. Here's the thing I know from volunteering with the homeless and drug addicted and that, is that I obviously stumbled into somebody's homeless camp and I didn't know it. Because I never would have put myself in that situation. That's not why I'm out, is to go to a homeless camp. I'm out to do my own camp and then go home. But where there's one, there's never just one. There's gotta be more. There's somebody's lurking in the darkness, somebody's hiding behind, and it's their territory. Obviously. So they know the lay of the land a lot better than I do, especially that time of night. I didn't even know how to get the hell out of there. I had to work it out with my GPS actually to find the damn trail, because it was like, my head was like, why does this guy got pipes and why is it 11 o'clock at night and he's 10 feet away from me? And thank God I woke up. I woke up before he actually like started battering me with those pipes. So thankfully I woke up. But where there's one, there's many. I know that.
The next morning, Davey thought back on the encounter. He believed he may have accidentally camped near an encampment, which could explain why the stranger wanted him to leave. Looking back, Davey felt that walking away was safer than arguing with someone who already held the advantage in the darkness. He abandoned the original campsite and spent the remainder of the night several kilometers away. A person holding weapons at close range can control a situation before the other person has time to react. Davey may never know why the stranger approached him, but do you think leaving immediately was his only safe choice? Kev's Outdoor Adventures is a YouTube channel focused on camping and exploration trips across the United Kingdom. In this video, Kev travels with his dog Chow to Mardale for a night of wild camping on a hill believed to be haunted. At first, the trip feels calm. Kev enjoys the mountain scenery and the peaceful surroundings. After hiking for several hours, he eventually finds a suitable place to set up camp.
Right guys, found our spot. We're going to stop here. It's not quite near the top, but it's a nice flat spot. It's going to start getting dark soon. It's after, what time is it now? It's 5 o'clock now. Sorry, 6 o'clock now. It'll dark within the hour. So I need to get this lot set up, get sorted out. Now bring us back when it's all up. Turn off a bit. It's still light.
and I'm getting everything set up. Charles had a drink, I'm going to give him some food soon. That's the setup for tonight. I'll show you everything we've got later. I haven't got a great deal with us tonight. We've too much to carry up here. But this is our home for tonight. Got the van go to Ryan again. It's spitting on a rain, so it looks a bit cloudy. We weren't supposed to get any rain till tomorrow. But the way it's looking...
As darkness falls, Kev prepares dinner and sits down to enjoy the silence. For a while, nothing seems unusual, but that peaceful feeling does not last. Shortly before going to bed, he notices something strange in the distance.
I've had nothing creepy yet, heard nothing yet. There's some people down there though. The light keeps popping up on the woods. Actually it's there now. I'll turn this light off and I'll see if I can get it up. There it is. There's people in the woods down there as well. You see, I went to go there one time before. Couldn't get. There was lads there, so didn't bother. I went somewhere else in the woods. See, they're all the way down there, I'm up here. So see my light, but they wouldn't walk up here, it's too far. All the way around and then back up again. So I'll turn this light a little bit. It's a bit bright, you can still see the air. Finish this can. Maybe just watch a film a little bit. Chow's still asleep. He's down there. He's flat out. You probably want to pee later on during the night, but it happens. Right guys, I'll bring us back before bedtime. Turn it off for a bit.
A light resembling a flashlight flickers across the hillside. Kev does not appear overly concerned because the light seems too far away for anyone to reach his campsite quickly. He eventually climbs into his tent and tries to rest. Not long afterward, something wakes him again. This time the sound is much closer.
Sounds like something's outside. They're walking about. I know it's windy, but... that? I didn't know if you can pick it, you can hear it or not. Right guys, I'm going to turn this light off. I'm going to try and get some sleep. I know it's windy. I just saw it, those footsteps outside as well. Can't hear it now, like, but when you feel like people walking around in long grass, makes it a rustling sound. That's what it was like. But I'm going to turn this light off.
Slow, crunching footsteps appear to move just outside the tent. The noises can be heard clearly in the recording as Kev remains quiet and tries to understand what is happening. By morning, the campsite appears normal. However, the unsettling feeling remains because the person or animal moving near his tent never showed itself. Sound can travel strangely across open hills and make distant movement seem much closer. Still, the footsteps sounded close to the tent. Do you think they came from the people across the hillside, or was something else moving around Kev's campsite? Dan is an English YouTuber who recently began sharing his camping adventures online. Although he is still fairly new to the hobby, he has quickly started gaining attention within the outdoor community. For this trip, Dan entered a forest near his hometown with his friend Reese.
Get on, John. And we've got the wood there. This is the camp, mate. We've even got a tree swing, look. We've even got a tree swing.
You want a peg up?
Yeah.
If I tell them I found conkers. They're for Edie. If you're watching, when you're watching Edie, got your conkers.
Got your conkers, your dad's got your conkers. Reese just getting fire started. Cracked a beer each. He's on the Stella. I've got the Cruise Campo. Quite nice actually. Quite nice actually. Quite nice beer.
Cruise Campo's Spanish.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was German.
Oh well.
Never mind.
Oh well, does it matter?
It doesn't matter, mate. I still drink it, don't I?
Alright, yeah.
It's Spanish.
Espanol.
Yeah, it even says on it, Espana. On it.
That's the guy.
Good job you're here, mate.
That's the guy drinking it. It's like...
Good job he's here.
The evening began peacefully. Reese worked on starting the fire while Dan relaxed with a Spanish beer and enjoyed the quiet surroundings. After preparing dinner, darkness began settling over the forest. The two friends set up their tents and prepared to rest for the night, unaware that something outside would soon keep them awake.
This is Reese's tent. He's just about set up. MSR, this is a proper tent, this, guys. Look at this. This is a proper tent. I'm a proper camper.
I got a real big camp.
Yeah, that's a proper tent. That's mine. It's getting dark, look. Glad we've got tent up now. That's it. I just thought I'd show you that. So, someone keeps whistling. We've got the air rifle ready. But someone keeps whistling. See if I can catch it on camera.
I've got a good shot.
They're not whistling now, I don't know where they've gone. They've been shouting and whistling now, aren't they?
We had a dog.
Maybe. So, we're in bed. The time is 8:53 and I think it's time to just watch some YouTube videos, I think. Listen to a podcast or something. Just help me relax. Just get my head down. This is my setup. Got my pillow and my mat. Got my sleeping bag there. My bag. So yeah, I think it's just time to just watch something and chill out. I did hear some whistling, but I think it was someone whistling at the dog, but yeah, I think that's it. So I'm just going to chill out, and yeah, if I don't see you through the night, I'll see you in the morning. I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like someone or some walking around. Hello? Hello? I don't know. Just had a quick look. Not getting out. I think it might just be like an animal or something. Can't hear anything now. But it sounded like human footsteps. Mental. I'm just gonna chill, see if it comes back, see if I can hear anything. I'll bring you back if I hear anything or anything happens.
Without warning, clear footsteps could be heard moving around Dan's tent. The sounds seemed to circle his sleeping area. Dan became noticeably tense as he tried to determine whether the movement came from an animal, another person, or something he could not identify. The following morning, Dan asked Reese whether he had left his tent during the night. Reese said he had not. Nothing around the campsite appeared disturbed, and none of their belongings had been taken. Still, the source of the footsteps remained unexplained. Dry leaves and trees can make footsteps sound as though they are coming from different directions. But if Reese never left his tent, who or what was walking around Dan's campsite that night? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.